Welcome back here with Goldberg. Today we have to talk about a matter of significant importance. And as you know, I get a lot of simping and cucking from the manosphere. It's almost as though if you contradict their talking points in detail, it'll go right over their head and they just have to rewind the cassette tape, which I suppose is just good. I deserve a medal, really, for all the trials that I've had to overcome. But let's just get down to business. This is going to be a subject that will rile a lot of folks, might even get a rise out of them, unless, of course, you're into no-fap. I know that's a religious belief, and I want to respect it. But at any rate, I've been quite prescient. I talked about more dudes becoming homosexual because of the dating market, and also transsexual for the same reason. Now, we are seeing this. You go on a dating app, there's tons of transsexuals. A couple years ago, there were not. It's getting mainstreamed, as they say. You had like a show on Amazon that's really popular promoting that. You see it now on television, even in just commercials and the like. Kids are being brought up indoctrinated, like with the drag story hour. And some of you say, no, that's not true. Do your research because you're wrong, plain and simple. But we have to be really considering the fact many of these manospherians or some of the incel types, they obsess over this legendary Chad, the Chad who vanquishes all, the Chad who takes the girl. You get cucked by Chad. But I think in the near future we may be in a situation where those folks are going to be turning around in bewilderment and saying in no uncertain terms, well, where have all the good Chads gone? Because in this grim time to come, it won't be Chad that takes your girl. It will be Stacy or even Chasey. Yeah, that's right. You need to pay attention, as I do. I try to focus on trends, and so I was talking to someone who's really into TikTok. Now, when I heard TikTok, I was thinking of Kesha Cashew, that singer. She had the song, Don't Stop Blowing. Anyway, and TikTok's actually, it's like a streaming app where you do little low IQ skits or political discussions or music. A lot of young girls, like teenagers, are into it. And I said, so what are they watching? And she said, it's they're called femmes or femboys. I was like, that's kind of weird. What does that entail? Well, there's these prepubescent looking boy band style. The guys who probably decent as European models. They don't have any real muscle. They've got very soft voices and features. I'm trying to think of a good comparative one. Actually, if you look at the actress who played Zoe Barnes in House of Cards, Kate Mara, who they made her Sue Storm to replace Jessica Alba, which was definitely not a good decision. I've always seen Kate Mara as being sort of androgynous looking. Maybe that's just me. I know there's some guys who obsess over her. And interestingly enough, one of her first roles was in Nip and Tuck, where the son of the doctor, he's one of those kind of, effeminate-looking dudes. He looks like kind of a prison prag, I guess. Well, he is really obsessed with Kate Mara. Then it turns out that she's actually a lesbian into another chick. And then later on in the series, he ends up in a relationship with a more macho-looking tranny. I thought that was interesting how accurate that show has been in some regards. But going back to the TikTok, these are dudes, they're, I guess, biological males, allegedly. But they have the long hair, the makeup, the nails, they wear skirts, carry purses around, kind of like a lot of rappers now we see dressed up as women for some reason. And this is what the girls, they're all obsessed with. And you say, oh, well, no, it's huge. This is what they're crazy about, and they're defending it. Transvestites, cross-dressing, that's what they love seeing these dudes do. Okay? So for all that people have said in the past, because another thing you see with the younger girls is they're shaving their heads kind of the Butch style. It's the same thing, the normalization of bisexuality. Not to pretend it hasn't existed, because it does. I talked about in Saudi Arabia, a lot of those women who are supposedly conservative and at home are hooking up with other women. This is well known and documented if you actually look into it. But in the past, culturally, people would say, oh, lesbians are just ugly chicks. Not really that case, not exactly true. When I was at trade school some years back, I remember this chick started at the lower level in classes. but you were in the same building, so you would see one another. And she was really good looking, long hair, very feminine, probably a 7 or 8 depending on who's talking. Well, all the dudes start simping for her, as they should, and you know who ended up banging her? It was the out and proud, butch-looking lesbian chick. Now that says a lot, okay? This girl could have had most any good-looking guy she wanted because she was quite attractive herself, and she went for the butch lesbian. That shows you what the younger generation is into. I think she was like 18 at the time. And we can't just lay it aside. She actually might have been 17. I'm not entirely certain. Sometimes they let the younger kids start a little bit earlier. So think about it for a second. Think about what that could do. I mean, this is how you break down a society even further. They've already damaged the family. They've already screwed up relationships. The next step is to say, oh, by the way, women don't even need men. At best, they need a shoddy imitation of one in the form of one of these chasies or trans types, crossdressers. I mean, it's a real deal, honestly. You can imagine one of these dudes in the future maybe doing PUA, and he puts on all this stuff like the tutu and the women's underwear and the makeup, and he just offers himself to the chick. And she responds by going, "Nah, your ass isn't that special." And she goes with another chick. I mean, think about what that would do to his self-esteem. Holy crap. That's what I would say. And so it'll be that song that John Mayer produced after he broke up with Katy Perry, and it was like, in another life, I would be your simp. You can use my credit card and I'll pay your rent. I mean, seriously. They'll be lamenting the fact they can't even simp for the woman. Think about it in that term, where you're like mind blown here, right? This is what you get when you listen to Dr. Goldberg. So, where does that leave us? I just wanted to highlight what I think PUAs are going to be saying in the future as a direct result of this cultural shift that we're seeing at a rapid pace. And a lot of people are going to be denial. We're going to get the simping and cucking in the comments section, how like women are going to want you when you're 40 because you're fat and bald and you've gone your own way. Yeah, whatever. But let's talk about the real stuff here. Let's talk about what the PUAs will probably be advising when that very sad time comes. So, they talk about improving your style. They'll start saying you should be skirt maxing or thong maxing. A couple of good tips there. Just be feminine, bro. Pheromone makeup, that would be another aspect to it. The castration approach as opposed to the cold approach, that would be a nice strategy. And finally, negging will become egging. In other words, dudes will take estrogen in order to ovulate. Yeah, just an idea. A lot of you red pillers will be probably ripping off this stuff in a few years because you'll have nothing left. I mean, it's already getting desperate. They're talking about trying to pick up women during the pandemic, so it's really not that far from the imagination. My point is, this normalization of cross-dressing, of transgenderism, this is going to be the final capitulation of men across the globe, as far as I'm concerned. This is how desperate they will become, that to attract a woman, they'll have to try to become an attractive woman. Once again, your mind has been blown.